Good morning, friends. Glad to see you all here today. Not everyone can see me because I'm not high enough over the piano, but I see you over there on orchestra right. So this morning I thought we would begin our service, instead of having an instrumental prelude, I thought we would sing together. So in your order of service, you see it's number 291, and I see there's also a little typo, but it's Die Gedanken sind frei. And so there's 4 foreign words that we're going to say 2 times, and then we're going to sing everything else in English. Die Gedanken sind frei, my thoughts are free. So if we're feeling trapped or oppressed, suppressed, we have our freedom of thought, and we are grateful, you know. Okay, Die Gedanken sind frei. I'll play it through one time, and then I will just lead you and we'll sing together. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh. It is July 6th. I am Stephanie Pulowski, commissioned lay minister with this church. I'm in my late 40s, white skin, curly brown graying hair. I wear glasses, and I'm wearing a black polka dotted jumper. With me today is our guest speaker, Mac Perkins High, who was our intern. Who was our intern last year, who agreed to step in for the last minute before they leave Pittsburgh in the next few weeks. Our minister, Reverend Walker, is off today and through mid-August. We also have Liam Lyons with us on drums. Thank you for being with us, Liam. You are welcome here. If you are watching now or in the future, you are welcome. If you're a longtime member or brand new, you are welcome here. We, Unitarian Universalists, are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We're a multi-faith religious community where all are welcome, diversity is celebrated, and questions are expected. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome. If this is your first time with us, we would love to be in touch with you. If you have not already done so, please go to our welcome desk in the atrium, or if you're watching us on YouTube, visit our website. Just Google First Unitarian of Pittsburgh and sign up for our weekly newsletter found at the bottom of the page. Two announcements this morning. In 2 weeks, on July 20th, it is what's becoming a traditional poetry and music Sunday. If we are still looking for congregants and friends who are poets. If you would like to submit a poem to either read yourself or have read, we would love to have you. Please reach out to me. The theme is transformation. Additionally, it is exciting. We're already seeing some use of our capital campaign funds with the help of the Women's Alliance. The stained glass window that is above the door to sneak into Reverend Kate's office, apparently one of the pieces of stained glass was being held up by duct tape. It no longer is. It is a full stained glass window. And when you walk past the Schweitzer room, you will see a piece of plywood up. That stained glass is being fixed by Hunt Stained Glass, I can't read my own writing, Hunt Stained Glass something. Studio, that makes sense, Hunt Stained Glass Studio. I invite you now to take a deep breath, arrive in body and spirit, and picture yourself connected to all others who are watching today and in the future. We turn now to our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. If you have a chalice at home, we invite you to light it at this time. We light the chalice today with the words of Lisa Garcia Sampson. In these wild, historic, and uncertain times, we gather to remember who we are, who we belong to, and what we are called to do. As we light this chalice, we kindle the spirit of the Great Turning, the movement for justice alive in this nation today. May we feel it in our bones and in the stillness of this hour. May we sense it calling our name. May this flame burn bright in your heart and mind as we worship together. Now please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, Hymn 347, Gather the Spirit.
Gather
seated and join me in reading our collective reading of our principles and values. It's printed in your order of service. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We covenant to practice interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. To practice pluralism, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. To practice justice, we work to be a diverse, multicultural, beloved community where we all thrive. To practice transformation, we adapt to the changing world. To practice generosity, we cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. To practice equity, we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm going to do a story now. So I invite all those of you who are young or young at heart to join me up on the chancel. And I will also accept those of you who are old or old at heart, because I think I would like a couple of people up here with me. So if you're feeling frisky, happy to be in the public eye, please come join. Hello. Oh, and as Stephanie said, my name is Mac Perkins High. I use he and they pronouns, and I served as the intern minister of this church for the past year, although today I am just here as a civilian. I'm a little under 6 feet tall, have long blonde hair that's in braids. I'm wearing a stole, which was made by the members of this community, and I am white with skin that is somewhere between tanned and sunburnt, depending on where exactly on my body you are looking. So, thank you for being here. Do you guys want to share your names? Or? Yeah? Ray, what's your name?
My name is Ray.
Thank you. Yeah? Okay. Well, I'm here with Ray and a few anonymous individuals whose presence that I appreciate. So, Friday was the 4th of July. I don't know if any of you know. Okay, you watched the fireworks on Friday. What did anyone else do? Anything fun?
Fireworks.
You watched the fireworks too? Haven, what about you? Sparklers?
Yeah, we did sparklers. Wait, I forgot what it's called. Sparklers.
That's awesome.
I went to the lake.
That's pretty good news. I enjoy a lake myself. For our audience, who does not know as much as you do, is anyone willing to remind them what the 4th of July celebrates? Ray says America. Haven says also America. Do you guys have any ideas?
That was the day when the United States got our freedom.
That is the day when the United States got our freedom. That is very close to right. That's when the United States said, we are free and we reject you, colonial power that is Britain. In a totally unrelated story, I have some close family friends from England, and we were watching a Revolutionary War reenactment when they were kids, and they said, wait, I thought we were friends. Why are the Brits the bad guys? In any case, yeah, it's often called Independence Day as well as the 4th of July, and that's because it celebrates independence. And I was struggling a little with the 4th of July this year because many people treat it as celebrating America. America, I don't know if you've noticed, it's doing some like hard things these days, which I struggle with. And it's hard to have a holiday that celebrates something that you're struggling with. But it also celebrates independence, which we can also think of as liberation. And it's not the only holiday in the world that celebrates liberation. Can you think of any other ones? I promise this isn't a lesson. I'm just getting ideas. We had one last month. Yeah! Good work, Rob. Juneteenth is one such holiday. I like the Juneteenth a lot more than the 4th of July, although I didn't know about it when I was a kid. I actually didn't know about it until less than a decade ago. But Juneteenth is the holiday, for those of you who don't know, that celebrates the last day that there were slaves in the United States. Back in the day, news took a while to travel overland, and so 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was the time when Union soldiers finally got to Texas and told the enslaved people that they were enslaved no more. And it's, I think, one of the most precious holidays we have. It is a holiday that truly celebrates liberation. It is not the only one, either here in the States or worldwide. There's also January 1st celebrates the Haitian Revolution, which was the most successful rebellion of enslaved people in history. Cinco de Mayo does not actually celebrate Mexican independence, but is an important war in the story of Mexican independence. Passover, yes, was on my brainstorming list this morning. Exodus, the story of the enslaved Jewish people escaping from Egypt. And to make it short, I have one more story that I will share with you. Secret about me, I'm not actually very old. That's not news to them, might be news to you. But when I was 10, when I was y'all's age, more or less, my state, Massachusetts, became the first place in the United States and the second place in the world to legalize gay marriage. It was 2003, and that's really recent, and I was really proud of that for a long time, but it was only one place. And then 10 years after that, when I was 20, so 10 years ago, about a week ago, I was in Germany with my family. We were in Berlin. My dad had studied abroad there, and he was having a sort of weird time walking around. We went through Checkpoint Charlie, where the Berlin Wall used to be, and he said, last time I walked through here, there were machine guns pointed at me. Because within his lifetime, Germany was divided, and there was not liberation there. And on that day where we were in Berlin, it was 100 degrees. It was the hottest day in German history. And we were in a hotel, cooling down, and on the TV, I saw that the Supreme Court case, Obergefell versus Hodges, had been decided, and that gay men and gay women and queer people of all sorts and varieties in all of the United States were allowed to marry. And I burst into tears in this hotel in Germany. And I just wanted to share that because I feel like there are so many stories of liberation, so many holidays of liberation, because we have so many stories and holidays of unliberation. The only way for people to get free is if they are beforehand not free. And also, the trajectory of things is towards that freedom often. And that was just a story from my personal life of that sort of liberation. And I know, not the most interesting story, but I hope you're able to find those moments in your own life, whether they are on a national or international scale, or just on the scale of tickling your brother, that have to do with liberation and being free in this world. So, thank you. And Ellen will now lead us in a song, and we'll also announce what the song is, because I don't remember.
So we're going to sing throughout the summer, Sing and Rejoice number 395. But today I'm the only song leader, so if you want to sing it in a round, we're going to sing it 4 times. And if you want to start singing at a different time than I start, just look at those numbers in your book, and as you wish, it'll be a free-for-all 4 times through Sing and Rejoice. Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things believing now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things believing now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things believing now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things believing now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. If I cut anyone's round off too short, my apologies. Thank you.
Every month, we share our generosity with a designated organization that shares our values. This month, for all of July, it is Tree Pittsburgh. I would now like to welcome up E.B. Emmons to introduce the organization. A reminder, all donations are shared 50-50 with this organization unless otherwise designated.
Thanks, Stephanie. Good morning. I'm here to share with you a message from Danielle Crumrine, who is the executive director of Tree Pittsburgh. She says, at Tree Pittsburgh, we are rooted in the profound belief that trees are essential to our lives as they clean the air, filter our water, cool our streets, and offer shelter to people and wildlife. But sadly, not all Pittsburgh neighborhoods have equal access to the important benefits trees provide. In some communities, towering leafy canopies line the streets, while in others, tree cover is sparse or non-existent. These disparities correlate closely with other social, economic, racial, and environmental inequities. Neighborhoods with few trees experience hotter summers, worse air quality, higher energy costs, and increased flooding risks, all of which negatively impact, of course, the health and well-being of residents. At Tree Pittsburgh, we work, she says, to change that. Through tree planting, education, advocacy, and stewardship, we aim to grow and protect our urban forest so every resident from every zip code can experience the benefits of a healthy, green environment. We need support from our community, that's us, and we appreciate that First Unitarian wants to help. This, I think, is the third time, maybe more, but at least the third time we've shared the plate with Tree Pittsburgh. So the aim we all share with them is to grow and protect our urban forest so that every resident, I said that, every zip code can experience these benefits. We need support from our community. Every dollar you give goes towards planting, educating, supporting programs that make Pittsburgh a greener and more equitable city. They are very grateful that we are sharing. How many of you are very familiar with Tree Pittsburgh and outside of even just church? I just learned today that they actually have quite a beautiful, I know they have a beautiful site by the river, and they host quite a few events, including, I learned that next Sunday afternoon there will be a yoga and meditation, a 4 to 6 hour retreat at the site of Tree Pittsburgh. So it's a place to keep track of for many reasons, and I commend you to their website, which is full of good information. Thank you.
Our religious community is made up of volunteers and staff creating and hosting a variety of programming. We rely on your financial support. In addition to the collection plate, you can donate by texting GIVE to 412-435-1050 and following the directions. Please check the end of the order of service for additional directions. And as stated, all donations this month will be shared equally with Tree Pittsburgh. The offering will now be gratefully received to support the work, wonder, and witness of this religious community. we hold each other in our hearts and minds with all our joys and all our sorrows. May those who suffer or mourn find peace. May those who hunger or thirst be quenched with nourishment and sated with the elixir of life. May those who have experienced violence find care and comfort and the healing that comes in time. May all of us find the loving kindness that is ours to share. May we open our hearts and minds to encircle with love and care all in our community and beyond. So may it be. Amen, namaste, and blessed be. You are invited into a few moments of silence, personal meditation, and prayer. In the words of Vanessa Taitang, Spirit, Spirit of life, we are here with wounded hearts open. Empty, lost, we turn to you by turning towards each other and feel your presence and yet have so many questions, so much confusion, so many concerns and fears, and want to know why and how and when the hurt will stop. Spirit of life, reside in us each. Remind us we are never alone, filled with the hurt that reminds we too are still feeling, still aching for peace and love, that we believe that we know is possible. Hold us gently as we gather closer together, comforting each other, healing each other, inherently worthy, with dignity. Each of us, hold us still. Blessed be. Amen.
I invite you to join us, to join me in singing number 396, I Know This Rose Will Open. And just like the other round, you may begin singing at another time if you wish. I'll play it through 3 times, and sing as you wish.
Thank you all for singing that. I know it was your duty. I still found it beautiful. Our reading today is from a poet named Lucille Clifton. This one is called After Kent State. Only to keep his little fear, he kills his cities and his trees, even his children. Oh, people, white ways are the way of death. Come into the black and live. Good morning. Once again, I'm Mac Perkins High. I use they and he pronouns, and I am so proud to be here today. Thank you for welcoming me back. I got a call from Reverend Kate saying she needed someone to fill in, and it was the easiest yes in the world. Thank you also for being here. I thought for a while there might be 12 people in service, and there are at least 24, so that's great news. I also have two quick announcements. One, to preempt you on the personal level, I do not have a job yet. I am still in the interviewing process. It's going well, but churches are committed to group process, which takes a little bit of time, as you might know. Also, coffee hour today, I believe, will be upstairs in the Schweitzer room, which also has nice access to the garden on such a beautiful day. So, would you like to hear a joke? Wonderful. I was going to tell you anyway, but I'm glad that you'd like to hear it. So, there's a man. Let's call him Norm. And he's waiting at the car mechanic. He's feeling anxious, and his leg is jackhammering up and down as he waits for the news. See, Norm's car has been squeaking and groaning and roaring and grumbling and really making all sorts of noises that cars aren't supposed to make. It has a hard time starting and a hard time stopping. The check engine light is on. The windshield wipers have a mind of their own, turning on randomly on bright, clear days and turning off randomly in steady downpours. But Norm needs his car for all the various reasons one might need a car, and he doesn't have very much money to fix it for all the various reasons one might not have money to fix a car. So he's in the waiting area, chugging bad coffee, shaking his leg up and down, wondering what the prognosis might be. After an interminable amount of time, the mechanic walks into the waiting room. They wipe a little bit of car grease from their brow, look right at Norm, and say, "Well, I've got good news, and I've got bad news." Norm takes a deep breath to steel himself, happy there's some good news, and says, "All right, hit me with the bad news first." And the mechanic says, "Well, you know that squeaking you've been hearing? It's some mice. Actually, more like a whole city of mice. And I'd offer to remove them, but I think they're the only reason your car is starting and stopping at all. You know that movie Ratatouille with the chef? It's like that, but there's a little mouse mechanic back there doing what he can to keep your car running." Norm says, "Oh, that is bad news." He said, What else?" And the mechanic said, "And the undercarriage of your car. I know you didn't ask me to look at it, but I thought I'd take a look, and it's rotted away. There's really nothing there. One good crash, your car will just dissolve." Norm said, "Oh, that is bad news. Anything else?" And the mechanic said, I could go on, but I don't know if you want me to." And Norm sighs. It's a lot of money. He needs his car. It's a hard time. And he says, all right. So, mechanic, what's the good news?" And the mechanic says, "Oh, it's my daughter's birthday. We're going to go get ice cream later." And Norm says, oh, I guess that is good news. But what about the car?" And the mechanic says, "Oh, there's nothing we can do about the car. I just thought you'd appreciate the good news." So, I don't know about you. I've been both characters in this story at some point in time. Maybe you have as well. Not necessarily as a car mechanic, but as someone giving or receiving consolation in the face of devastation. Your loved one comes to you, or you come to your loved one. Something's not right in their world or yours, and the response is to be told of something wonderful, but maybe just a little unrelated. The world's on fire, but the sunset was so beautiful last night. There was a breakup, but the trees are in bloom. Your car is toast, but the mechanic and his daughter are getting ice cream together. In response to huge, life-changing news, a counter-observation is made, which is unambiguously good news, but which doesn't have anything to do with the bad news. Well, I've got good news, and I've got bad news. The bad news, I don't think I need to enumerate for you. Let's just say the bad news is the equivalent of what happened to Norm's car, but on a national scale. The good news is you are all, if you are in this building or online, part of a religious community. The bad news, these are not words of consolation. The good news, I plan to not be like Norm's car mechanic. So let me explain why it is good news that you are a religious community and why it has anything at all to do with the breaking down car that we all find ourselves in. There are 3 things that I want you to know. First, religiosity is a form of resilience to harm. When I was in grad school, I took a class on trauma and resilience, which was actually one of the main things I was hoping to learn out of divinity school in the first place. In that class, one of the things that we hammered on over and over is that trauma isn't a specific type of event. It is your reaction to an event. That is not to say that you have any control over it, but the exact same thing might happen to 2 people who are in the same car as it crashes, and one of them could have a traumatic response to it, and one of them could have a bad day, but let the trauma go from their body and move on. Again, that's not a matter of choice, and healing trauma takes a lot of time, a lot of work, and a strong community. But there are things which are considered resilience factors for trauma, for harm in general, which make it so that when you experience harm, it is more likely to be something you can move on from, like yesterday when I hammered my finger and it hurt, but I'm fine, and less something that will wound you for life and prevent you from having loving relationships with yourself and those around you. One of those factors is spiritual practice. It's been shown over and over that having a spiritual practice, whatever it is, whoever you are, is something that acts as a resilience factor, prevents harm from becoming trauma. Another is community. Those who are strongly connected with others, or even weakly connected with others and have those to talk to, are able to make it through harder and harder events and be okay. Not good, but okay. The more of these resilience factors that you have, that you carry with you every day, the more resilient you are to harm. And as a religious community, you have 2 of them right there. You have spiritual practice in the form of joys and sorrows, or meditation, or listening to music, or whatever else it is that brings you here. And you have community in all of these people around you, no matter how well you know them or how poorly you know them. And that means two things. It means that you are more resilient to harm. It means that those around you are more resilient to harm. By being here, you are protecting everyone else here in some small way from taking on trauma. You are a religious community, and so you carry with you resilience. Secondly, religious communities are among what are called the traditional binding powers of society. These have been weakening over the last 10, 20 years, and depending on your take, that can be okay, because traditional binding power doesn't necessarily mean good. Another thing among the traditional binding powers of society is a caste system, which I think I don't like very much, and maybe others among you would protest against as well. But what these powers are is things that bring you into community with people who you wouldn't see otherwise. Not just those in your workplace or your best friends or your family, all these ways that we silo ourselves more and more as life goes on. Not just people with the same degree of education as you or the same amount of income as you or people who live in the same neighborhood as you, but lots of people. These weak connections formed by religious communities and the other traditional binding powers of society are immensely important. There was a groundbreaking sociology paper in the late 80s, I believe, called The Strength of Weak Ties, that was focused on jobs. But what it showed is that you are most likely to get a job not through your best friends or the people you know, but from the strangers who you kind of know, who stick out their neck for you or know someone who you wouldn't otherwise. This is true for employment, but it's also true in general. The people who you tangentially know are ones who can be with you and do things for you that you cannot get from your closest loved ones. And as part of a religious community, you are able to meet those people just because they are sitting in these pews with you, because nothing else brings you here other than your shared convictions of covenant. It also means another thing, which is it's easier to care about those who you see, who you know. Mere exposure is enough to build empathy. If you are in a world where you only see people exactly like you, you are in a world where you only care about people exactly like you. One of my thoughts, I'm sure you've had this too, is that apathy is one of the things in this world that leads to harm. We are all prone to apathy because you can only care so much. You care about the people you see. So if you want to care about more people, you need to meet more people. You need to spend time with people who are less like you. And this and all religious communities are a place you can do that. It's number 2, weak ties. The third thing is legal. Religions are protected in this country. As a religious institution, we are able to do work in the world that we cannot do otherwise. Right now, if not all of you know, our denomination, along with a number of other denominations, is suing the government over the right to protect immigrants within our walls from powers that would take them elsewhere. That is something that we can do because we are a religious community. People can come here for sanctuary. You can go out on the streets and use our collective power to argue and fight for the things that you care about. And we could not do those things if we were not a religious community. I myself have spent many, many years fighting the idea that I might be religious. Religion for me was something I saw do a lot of harm. especially as a kid, a way that people made excuses for hating others and putting it on something else. And knowing that, even when I was in divinity school on path to become a minister, I would shy away from the term religious. But don't do that. If this is just a social club, it is not protected under US law. We are not just a social club either. We have a long religious history of the work that we do in the world. So own your religious convictions, call them religious convictions, use your history of justice and nonviolence and carry it with you. That's thing number 3. We are a religious community. Not just a community or a community of shared values, but specifically one that is religious, because religion is a resilience factor for trauma, because religious community invites you to meet, care for, and provide aid to others who you might not otherwise meet, and because religion is a protected category that empowers you to do work that cannot be done otherwise. Own that you are religious, friends. Proclaim it loud, reclaim religion over and over until it is something that you can wear purely and with pride. Let me offer another story. This one's a little quicker, and unlike the car mechanic, it is true. On Friday evening, a couple days ago, which was July 4th, I walked from my apartment in Lawrenceville to the middle of the 40th Street Bridge in order to watch the fireworks without having to brave downtown Pittsburgh. I thought I was very clever for doing this, but to my surprise, I was not the only one there. In fact, it was popping, with young families, dogs, and other disaffected 30-year-olds all crammed onto the narrow sidewalk, sitting on the cement barrier in order to watch the fireworks display. We sat together, staring at the Pittsburgh skyline as cars zoomed right behind us and fireworks boomed in the distance. And I was at once so happy and so sad. So happy that such a thing as fireworks exists. Something we invent only because it is beautiful and brings joy, that we set off for free at public occasions so people can watch it and be joyful together. So happy because all those who gathered in the middle of a somewhat unpleasant sidewalk just to see something wonderful. So happy to eavesdrop on and share in the energy of the friendships and relationships and conversations of the people around me. And so sad, because watching those fireworks, I couldn't help but think of my 1-year-old niece who will grow up with fewer rights and protections than women of my generation had. So sad, because watching the fireworks, I thought of bombs exploding over so many parts of the world, on how the day I graduated with my second master's degree, there were no degree-granting institutions left in Gaza. So sad, imagining the ever-rising tidal wave of heat driving both snow and sugar maples from my native New England, of all the deaths and suffering that have been caused and will be caused by greed and by ambivalence to human suffering. The fireworks are good news. They were and are something that exists to be beautiful, and there is inalienable wonder in that. Earlier in the same day, I'd been doing construction work with my roommate, and from my position up on the ladder, I could see people grilling and carousing and gardening, enjoying summer and each other's company, because in many ways, that's what the heart of 4th of July is as a holiday. As a holy day, it invites us to be with each other and with the world in ways that we aren't always, and that's wonderful. And it's also a celebration of this nation, my nation. And my nation is hurting my people. My people, the queers, my people, the women, my people the poor, my people the elders, my people the Black, my people the Latines, my people the Palestinians, my people the Jews, my people everyone. My nation lashes out like a child who needs so desperately to show that they are hurting that they hurt everyone else in turn. And that's bad news. In a way, the 4th of July is precisely like Norm's auto mechanic. It walks into the room and says, I've got good news, and I've got bad news. The bad news is bad, the good news is good, and it's not clear that the good news and the bad news have much of anything to do with each other. But they do. Strangers gathering, sharing space, sharing joy, and caring about each other is the first step in dismantling the sort of interpersonal apathy that has led us where we are. The good news of those fireworks is not something to brush aside or discount. It is precisely the sort of thing that we need more of. I've got good news and I've got bad news. You don't need me to tell you them, because you already know both. You can find in your heart the deep grief and devastation. You can find in your heart that soaring joy and connection. And I am not here today to offer you words of consolation or words of advice, or to inform you of anything you don't already know. I'm here to remind you of the tools that you already have and to invite you to use them. You are a religious community. We all are. Whether it's your first day here or your 40th or your 40th year, we are all here together. I invite you to let this community and the spiritual practices you do be your resilience that hold and protect you as we dive into scary and difficult work. I invite you to talk to someone new during coffee hour, to meet your neighbors who you do not know, to put yourself into unfamiliar situations, to build binding power and stretch your empathy and care about a wider and wider circle. I invite you to carry your religious commitments into the public square and let the fact that you are religious empower you to do good work, both by yourself and with others. You are not alone. We are not alone. Look around you, or close your eyes and imagine. You are not unique as much as you would like to think you are sometimes, neither in your very real pain nor in your glorious laughter. You are together with this community. You are together with our siblings elsewhere in Pittsburgh, elsewhere in this country, elsewhere in the world. The good news is morals and connection. And I don't mean that in some frou-frou ornamental way. Those are the very ingredients of liberation. Bring them with you into the world. Do not let go of them, but share them with others. Support them when you witness them, and go forth doing work as yourself and with those around you who you love, even if you have yet to meet them. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
So I invite you to sing a hymn that's probably new to most folks, but it's number 287, Faith of the Larger Liberty. And the music is really old and therefore not maybe so comfortable for us modern folks to sing, but I think the words, even though they're a little old too, they are a little bit like this little light of mine, even though it's really different in feeling and in language. But I think there are some powerful words in here if we can muddle through faith of the larger liberty. And I'm going to play it once through. We'll just listen to the tune for those of us who aren't familiar with it. I have never sung it here in this congregation, so I'm assuming it's been a long time, and I'll refresh us. Thank you very much for joining in number 287.
Yeah, a little high in my range, but beautiful. Please be seated and join your voices with mine for our chalice extinguishing. The words can be found in your order of service as well as in your hearts. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As you go forth this day, bring with you your joy, your courage, your ability to meet new people. Bring your resilience and resilience to others. Own who you are, what you care about, and what you love. You are lights in this world, as are the people around you. Support them, support yourselves, and shine. Thank you.